Hey, good morning. I'm showing 0700. We'll get started with today's operational briefing for the Dixie incident for August 28th, 2021. My name is Chris Carrere, the Plant Section Chief for IMT1. If you could please do me a favor, grab your cell phones, put them on silent, turn down your radios, and if you need to have a side conversation, please take it outside the briefing area so that everybody gets a good briefing. We'll go ahead and get started with the incident situation update.
Morning, Josh Campbell, Night Ops Team 1. The fire held pretty good for us yesterday, only burned like 3,000 acres, so it worked in our favor. Starting down in Division Lima, Juliet, and Kilo. Fire's holding pretty good in there. They still have some heat signatures that they're finding on the IR, so the crews are going to continue to try to get depth, work in there today, and actually they worked in there yesterday trying to just knock that heat out. Division November and Oscar, the crews were in there trying to hold that piece so up in Papa they could complete that burning operation and get that all tied in before they moved up. And they burned from West Prospect Mountain yesterday and brought it down one of the road systems there, and they're going to try to tie it into the top of the park. They ran out of the burn window, so they had to stop. They hung it up yesterday evening or in the morning around 2 o'clock. Working around in Quebec, they had about 20 spots over the line. Biggest one was about 15 by 15. They picked those all up. That's looking really good in there. And then Romeo and Tango's looking really good. They continue to patrol and mop that up. Division Union, they just had calls for service around Chester and Lake Almanor, so that's looking pretty quiet. And then as they worked around that Mountain Meadows reservoir, they still had some fire in that reservoir. They're just trying to mitigate that. They put some foam in there, and it's helping them a lot better. And then working down into Janesville, and you can't even see that. The Hicks branch, it's looking really good. They do have some heat still on the west side that they're going to continue to work today. And yeah, end of report. You guys need to make that bigger.
Okay, moving on to the incident objectives. There have been no changes to the management or control objectives. Please reference your 202 for those. Incident weather.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Derek Williams, incident meteorologist. So a little bit of change in the weather today. We had a frontal boundary move through last night. Northeast winds, light northeast winds in some locations, but overall pretty quiet as wind-wise. It did bring in some considerably drier air, though. Recoveries were only in 25 to 35% range in the mid-slopes. So some drier air came through. That'll kind of go through the day, and as we get into the afternoon hours, we could see some single-digit RHs in the deeper valleys, but in general, 10 to 15% RH. We'll have an east and northeast wind component along ridgetops this morning, and then it could transition to a southwest wind this afternoon. Still pretty light considering, but that's kind of a signal for an overall change in the next couple of days. Still warming up, still trending upward in temperatures. We'll get close to 90 here in Susanville and basically 80s across the entire fire. So warming and drying trend continues, but Sunday we have an increase in southwest winds and still warmer, still drier. And then Monday and Tuesday we do have some at least elevated fire weather conditions that are expected. There is a fire weather watch that was issued for the far eastern part of the fire, but there's not really a magic line. It's not going to be a ray of sunshine over much of the Dixie fire on Monday and Tuesday. Gusts approaching 30 miles an hour from the southwest, combined with single-digit RHs, equals bad fire weather. Okay, so keep that in mind Monday and Tuesday. My phone number is on the bottom of the IAP forecast, so if you have any observations, you can text those to me. That'd be an easy way to do that, and that would be appreciated today. Thank you.
Fire behavior.
Good morning, Don Wild with Fire Behavior. So as you heard from the IMET, we have a change in conditions today. So we're going to see those winds start shifting around. It's going to be a big day for you guys just to keep heads up, especially when you start getting up into the branch 13 area. The terrain really affects the wind. So as it moves around, you're going to see different wind patterns around every peak and every valley. The fire's not really going to get up and move really strong until you get that alignment. You'll have some slow moving fire. It will get moderate at times, especially when we get some of that clearing. Spotting is going to be an issue. It's been an issue this whole fire. We saw it earlier in this fire weeks ago where that light wind picked it up and started moving. So if you see column development, expect that spotting distance to increase. Probably you're going to see about a quarter mile throughout the day unless you get that column development, and that wind, it'll start carrying it much farther. Big thing in the valleys, right? You're on two different sides. You have two different dramatic wind patterns, and as that wind shifts, it's going to affect your smoke, your visibility, and everything else. So if you do start seeing those flare-ups and that spotting, make sure you have good eyes and you can see it. Another issue to look out for is we start seeing that wind shift down in here. If you guys are working that Janesville branch, remember there's fire that is active below to the southwest of you, and that wind could push up in the next couple of days. So just make sure you have good lookouts and good communications down in that area. Have a safe shift.
Operational work assignments.
Good morning. My name is Mike Wink. I'm your operations section chief today. Last time you guys were here at a briefing, you had Team 3 with Chief Mark Brunton doing the same thing I'm doing. I've had a good pass down with him. We're going to continue their good plan. We're going to continue to support you in all your efforts out there. Organizationally, the only change you'll see today from the last time you were out here is we have now included the Shasta sector. Okay, so right here up in the split between branch 16 and branch 13 on that side, we ran the county line and split it down the county line down towards Westwood. So branch 9 and branch 13 are in the Shasta sector now, and then branch 16 is in the Lassen sector. So that's organizationally the change you're going to see. As far as today's work assignments, no changes from previous days. You're going to get detailed information in your breakouts for your overall objectives. You heard what Night Ops talked about, how everything's holding. So I'm going to give you your priorities for today. Priority number 1, based on the weather that you just heard and the F-band, is going to be branch 13, okay, here in the Lassen sector. That's going to get tested today, so and tomorrow. So as you continue to strengthen those lines, there's primary line, there's secondary line, and there's contingency line, all in that branch 16 area there in the Lassen sector. We need to continue to watch for those spots, strengthen those lines there in branch 16, priority number 1. Priority number 2, branch 13. You heard they're bringing the fire off the peak, protecting that critical infrastructure. There's a repeater up top there yesterday and the day before. They started firing down. They're bringing it down to Mid-Slope Road, trying to turn that corner back going into the park. Okay, priority number 2. Priority number 3, down here in Janesville. You heard the weather change, okay? Things are looking good in the Janesville branch. But we're going to continue. We're going to come off of Janesville above Milford and continue to improve all the critical infrastructure protection that was done a week or so ago when that really blew into that area. And then we're going to go a little bit further to up above the escarpment and put in additional lines running north, south, east, west, okay? So to get that check. Why? Because this piece in the east zone that's coming off Grizzly, Monday, fire weather watch here, right? It's going to increase the fire activity potential. There's open line down here every day between 2 and 3 in the afternoon. That Highway 395 corridor has increased in erratic fire behavior. If you were here when it came into Janesville, you saw it. Extreme erratic behavior. If you were here on the Beckworth complex, just down here when it came into Doyle, extreme erratic fire behavior. The Eagle Fire, 1989, engine crew burnover with burns and injuries. Right on the 395 corridor, right where you guys are going to be working. We're planning for that for Monday. Your next shift out here, that's something you need to be aware of, okay? So your priorities for today, branch 16, branch 13, and then making a plan over here, 1, 2, and 3. Make sure you practice your IWI protocol. Have your plan for primary, secondary, and contingency. Don't plan on aircraft. You know, if you're in a remote area, maybe you plan on rendezvousing with a system ambulance or an ambulance here on the incident. So, talked about the priorities, talked about your last shift, organizational change, talked about what's going to be happening on your next shift. We'll see you out there. Have a good day.
Our branch and division roll call.
Good morning, Jordan Weber, Resource Unit, for your branch, or your sector, branch, and divisional roll call, and they'll stand when their name is called. With the exception of the Butte sector, who's down in Magalia, Branch 1, Jason Morris, and then Division Alpha, Lane Costa, Butte Fire Suppression Repair, Dave Derby. For the Shasta sector, Fields. Branch 9, Smith. Division Juliet, Ibarra. Division Lima, Riley. In Branch 13, Klemick. Okay, November, Oscar, and Lassen IA are all in the field. Division Papa, Bots. And Shasta Contingency, Stornetta. For the Lassen sector, Prather. Branch 16, Boston. Division Quebec, Rivers. Division Romeo, Swope. For the Westwood sector, Emmer Garrett. And Clear Branch, Fredericks. Duffy, Hunter. Westwood, Straight. And Lassen Fire Suppression Repair, Hauser. The Janesville branch will report directly to Irma Garrett. For Milford, McTeague. And Hicks, Wilson. Antelope, Grandal. Thank you. Have a safe shift.
Air operations.
Good morning. Matt Hill, Air Operations, CAL FIRE Team 1 for this morning. The lineup on fixed wing will order as needed. On deck we have Air Attack, ASM, 3 S2s and 1 Type 1. For rotor wing, we have 13 heavy water droppers on the lineup today, along with 3 Type 2s and 6 Type 3s. We have 2 UAS modules that will spread out throughout the fire, and we have 1 MRB at Old Station, 2 helibases, 1 at Eagle Lake, the other one at Battle Creek. And we have Guard 840 as our 24-hour ALS hoist. It's based out of Reno, and our secondary ship is Guard 822. Please make it a safe shift and monitor air-to-ground command and air-to-ground TAC.
Communications.
Hi, good morning, Corey Costa, Commel Trainee. For today's operational period of August 28th, there's no change to the comm plan. The last clone was Tuesday and Wednesday, so if you're new to the incident or you haven't been by communications in the last few days, come by and we'll get you the most updated clone. Your West Zone 205 is on page 37 and 38, and East Zone 205 on page 39. As always, any questions, concerns about coverage, or questions about your radio, come see communications down at the end of Main Street by Supply. Have a safe shift.
Medical.
Good morning, Mike Brown, Medical Unit Leader. If you please turn to page 42, that will be your medical plan. For any in-camp emergencies that you have or needs, we have CalMat over here past feeding before the comms unit. Today we have 3 ALS ambulances, 3 line medic teams on the line to protect you. If you look down to box 8, the column on the left is the procedures you need to follow in case of an IWI, and the column on the right is the information we need to help you mitigate your emergency. If you have any questions, we have our trailer on trailer row. Have a good shift.
Safety.
Good morning, everybody. Brad Niven with IMT1 Safety. Hey, IWI pocket cards. We made a whole bunch of them. I want every single one of those gone by the time we're done with briefing. It is extremely important. Everybody should have them. Uniform shirt, Nomex, tucked up in the visor of your vehicle. Every single person on your engine, on your strike team, should have these IWI pocket cards, should know everything that's on there and be ready to go. Not if it happens, when it happens. Next, PPE. We're working in an area, all of the fuels, the trees are already stressed by drought. Now we've introduced the effects of fire to them. There is no reason that anybody should be outside of their vehicle working in an area that's been burned without their helmet on. Put your helmet on. Lastly, driving. If you're driving here in the Susanville area, slow down. Let's be good neighbors to the people who live here in Susanville. Thank you.
Information.
Good morning, Emily Smith, Public Information. If you'd like to join me on page 43, I have some updated numbers for you. The current acreage on the Dixie incident is 756,768 acres, and we're at 48% containment with 4,692 personnel assigned. On this page, you'll see the CAL FIRE and federal social media policies. Please continue to follow those policies. If you do have video content or photos that you would like to post, please come by the PIO shop first so we can vet those. And you may also email us at the Gmail account on the page as well, and we can get those back to you. Today we do have a community meeting in person in Old Station at Shasta County Fire Station 12, and that will be at 3 o'clock today. And tonight we have a virtual community meeting on Facebook at 7 p.m. and you can join us either on the CAL FIRE Lassen Modoc page or CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 1 YouTube account. Again, we do have quite a bit of lost and found at the front trailer, and mail is being received, so come by if you're looking for something. Thank you and have a great day.
Logistics.
Good morning, Jacob Garrett Logistics. Just a reminder, camp is moving. We are moving to the mill where you currently get fuel. We are setting up an additional support camp. Last night I had my guys go to every piece of equipment in here and put a new location map with the traffic plan on how to get there. If you didn't get one, we're handing them out this morning with the IEPs. If you didn't get one when we handed out the IEPs, I've got somebody over here passing out more. It's important that all the private hires and vendors, if you guys get your logistical support trailers and or tents moved to this new location by Monday. I know it's an inconvenience. Thank you for being patient with us. It's a lot of work on our side too to try to set up a new camp to support everybody here on this incident. Last meal will be tomorrow night's dinner. Let me repeat that. Last meal will be tomorrow night's dinner. Briefing and breakfast and all your logistical needs will be at the mill. Have a good day.
Final comments from our Unified Incident Commander.
Good morning, everybody. Matt Rao, speaking for the Unified Command ICs for the West Zone of the Dixie Fire and the agency administrators. We'd just like to take a minute to thank everyone for all their hard work and dedication to meeting the objectives of this incident. It's been a long haul already. I spoke to a transport dozer operator this morning. It's his 42nd day assigned out without being home. I hope you're in the back, sir. It's a great conversation. We're all at different places here. So intent today, just take a minute and understand who you're working with and what they're going through and their contribution to the fire, because we all have a piece of the puzzle here, and we can't be successful without each and everybody's contribution. The one thing constant here is change. Change in incident management teams, change in weather, change in leadership. The way we get through this is by understanding each other and building those relationships. You heard operations priorities today on this incident. I'd like to reiterate that the overall priority is everyone's safety and bringing everybody back off the line. So to help facilitate that ahead of the weather change that we saw impending, take a minute and just go through what you're going to do in case something goes bad. Reiterate your safety zones, your escape routes, the plan if something goes bad. Make sure you take time to communicate that across. And everybody have a good shift, and we'll see you here tomorrow.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, for breakouts, behind the stage in the open field, Westwood, back behind the briefing area, Lassen and Shasta sectors. Have a safe shift. Turn on your phones and your radios.